Mia's performance ended in a flourish, the applause swelling like a tidal wave. Her audience was spellbound, drawn to her as if by some unseen force. They flocked to her, their admiration almost tangible in the air. Men fell to their knees, captivated by her charm. She radiated a magnetism that left them powerless, unable to look away. I remained in the shadows, observing with a patience honed over centuries. Her beauty was undeniable, but it was the light within her, fire that burned with life, that drew me. It sang to me, a melody only I could perceive. Once she was seated with her friends, I made my approach, moving through the crowd with the silent grace of a predator. Our hands touched, and with a mere thought, I bent her will to mine. We moved to the bar where the world around us faded away. Her laughter, her words, they captivated me completely. I invited her to my penthouse, promising her a night she wouldn't forget. As we drove through the quiet streets toward my penthouse, I offered her champagne, and we talked about her music, her dreams, the life she imagined for herself. Each word drew me deeper into her world. The conversation lulled, and I leaned in closer. Our eyes locked, and I told her, "I am going to kiss you, Mia." The anticipation in her eyes was almost as intoxicating as the kiss itself. When our lips met, it was a perfect union, soft and inevitable, as though we were always meant to find each other in this way. Afterward, we ascended to the bedroom, where passion ignited like a wildfire. The air in the room was thick, suffused with the heady scent of blood and the lingering echoes of dark desire. Athan hovered over Mia, his presence like a storm cloud, dense and inescapable. His fangs, gleaming in the dim light, pierced the tender flesh of her inner thigh with a precision that was both practiced and savage. A shudder coursed through her, a mixture of pleasure and pain so profound it left her breathless, suspended between two worlds. For a moment, the world around her was a blur, a haze of wanton lust and the intoxicating pull of his power. But then, as if a veil had been lifted, Athan released the hold he had over her mind. The fog began to clear, and with it, the dreadful realization of her predicament settled in. Fear, raw and visceral, surged within her, overtaking the dulled pleasure that had held her captive. Her heart pounded in her chest, each beat a frantic cry for escape.
No, this can't be happening.
He drank from her, drawing deeply until she was on the brink of unconsciousness. Then, just as suddenly, he pulled away, letting her go. Mia's body trembled as she lay on the floor, too weak to move. Athan scooped her up effortlessly, carrying her to the bed. He laid her down gently, his eyes never leaving her as he leaned in and kissed her passionately. Athan whispering, "I love you, Mia. You've given me such a wonderful night." His voice was tender, but his hunger was far from sated. His hand moved down to her breast, and with deliberate slowness, he bit into her beautiful, full black nipple. He began to nibble, drinking her blood once again, savoring every drop. In that moment, something changed in Mia. Her fear began to melt away, replaced by a strange, calm acceptance. She reached up, her hand brushing against his hair, as she whispered softly in his ear,
Please remember me forever, my love.
Athan froze, pulling back as if her words had struck him. He leapt off the bed, his eyes wide with something that almost looked like fear. He stood there watching her as she took her last breath, her eyes filled with a peaceful love that he had never seen before in all his years. In 200 years, no prey had ever looked at him like that. Athan felt a wave of confusion and a desire unlike anything he had known. He knew he couldn't let her go, not like this. Driven by an impulse he didn't fully understand, he bit into his own wrist, the blood flowing freely. Kneeling beside her, he pressed his bleeding wrist to her lips. This marks the end of our story. Thank you for listening and being a part of this journey. I hope to continue sharing more tales with you in the future. If you enjoyed this, please like and follow to stay updated. Your support means the world to me.